Okay. It says that we are live. I'm gonna go to YouTube and check if I can see us on there. Otherwise,
I got a notification on my phone about something. I presume it's your test stream. Yeah, there you are. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. It's working. I can see you.
You can see yourself now too.
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay, I had to shut that down. Shebus, but what the hell? I can always delete it.
Don't worry. Yeah, I'm supposed to be cleaning my office anyway, I believe. So, because it is.
What were you saying?
It's like cable.
Sorry.
Craziness.
The start is gonna be horrible, but we're just trying it out. So,
yeah, true.
Yeah, and it's on my stupid channel. It's gonna be like maybe, if we're lucky, 8 viewers, and 5 of them are gonna be me rewatching this.
Can you hear me okay? Can you hear the audio through my headphones?
Yeah, it would be good if you could up it a little bit.
Well, I can move it closer to my face. That's about it. Oh, a Java update. Is it okay for me to fix my office while we're here? Because that was like my whole purpose of being here.
Yeah, I'm trying to get some stuff in order to, but very
shit everywhere.
fast.
Look, do you see what the sign says on my wall? Do you see it? Can you see the sign? Look what it says. Beyond the mess. Keep clean. Do press-ups.
Do press-ups?
Yeah. Do press-ups. You know what a press-up is?
No.
It's where you do push-up. You know what a push-up is?
Yeah. Why don't you call it this damn push-up then? Then I would have known.
In Ireland, we call them press-ups. We don't call them push-ups. So that's why. Interested in saws? Anyone? Anyone interested in saws? Can we do some product placement while we're here? The Rex Betty saw.
Yeah, you can absolutely do that. We can do whatever the F we want. See? I said F. I'm gonna try not to swear.
Very good.
And then I'm gonna try this thing. You can see that. Cool.
I can see it, yeah. And it is live on your YouTube as well.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of tabs open, David.
Yeah, but now you can't see my tabs. Yeah, and then I also have actually a few more browsers with more tabs, because when you get up to like 8, you can't add more tabs.
I have to say your last video, I'm not sure if it was your last video, but the one called Monday, was that it really should have been for last week. That was just pure comedy. That was excellent. Yourself and Denise were watching it, just laughing. I didn't realize it was so long. It's like half an hour long, isn't it? It feels like 30 minutes long because it's so funny.
Yeah, it's too long. But that's one of the things that I'm struggling with. I'm making too long videos. If we're gonna get into talking about Last Dance is here. Cool.
Hey, hello, Last Dance. Long time no see.
Boring. What the hell? Yeah, we're kind of boring.
Hang on. No, we'll show them proper boring. Hang on. Can I show them my USB cable box? Hang on. Where's my USB cable box? That's proper boring. Where is that? Where did that go to? Oh, here it is. Here it is. It's up here. Oh no, phone calls. Strangers. Hang on.
Do you need to get that?
I might have to get it. How do I mute me? There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, they're gone. They're gone. I'll call them back. Yeah.
I think
Can you hear
so
me again?
far. Yeah, I can hear you. I think so far this is not the best stream ever.
Well, here, go back to what we were going to talk about instead of.
Yeah, I do have some points here written down. But I also remember this really stupid anecdote from my childhood.
Okay.
When I was competing in high jump. I don't know. I can save that for later.
No, go for it.
Because we were talking a bit. I remember I said that I might come across as arrogant because we were talking about humor and comedy.
Mm-hmm.
And I usually fall into kind of this alter ego where I'm an arrogant douchebag idiot. Because
I've never
it's not
that up from you. I've never.
It's not really original, and it's usually self-deprecating. But people may not pick up on the self-deprecating part, so I actually have people think that I'm kind of narcissistic and stuff. But then I remember this anecdote. This is true, and this is funny because it's true. When I was a kid, it's such a douchey thing to do because I had my father as my coach in high jump, and I was a freaking god in high jump. I know it sounds douchey to say that, but I was like 12 years old, so I was on the next level. I was tall as F, and I could jump really high. That's kind of, and I was playing basketball, but then I tried high jump as just for fun. So he signed me up for this like cup or tournament. And again, I'm 12 years old. He's my coach. We go there, and there's a bunch of kids from all around. Some had traveled there from neighboring counties and stuff. And this is so douchey because then they started to jump, and then it came to me. My father, my coach, said, "No, we'll pass because you can pass on the lower
wait
levels
until it gets higher."
Yeah, because if you get the equal height and if you pass, you're gonna win if you passed a few jumps.
Yeah,
but we just continued to pass. Whenever they raise the bar, we pass.
And so you could have been warming up on these little jumps, I presume.
Yeah, and then there was
warming up.
Yeah, and then there was no one left. They raised the bar 3 centimeters, and everyone looked at me and my father, and he said, "We'll pass." And I raised it again 3 centimeters. And then, okay, I'll jump. I did my jump. And I had like 10 centimeters over the bar.
Wow.
Like perfectly. Took the trophy and went home.
Deadly. And you were into basketball first, and then you were into...
Yeah, no, I was actually into soccer, or football as we call it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, then went to basketball, which I it was the soccer thing. I became a goalie.
Oh,
but
yeah,
then it was.
I played in goal.
Yeah, but then I was really good at it, which is weird because then I got promoted to better teams, so I had nothing to do because they were on the offense all the time. I was just standing there, sometime in the rain, nothing to do, just watching the game. So I thought it was boring.
Being in goal. I hated being a
Yeah.
goal. In Ireland, it was like, I don't know, Saturday morning, freezing cold, and I was tiny. I was like a dwarf when I was young. I was like a dwarf child when I was younger,
Yeah.
and
You could have rode on my back and
they
were
put me
like
in
a
goal. They put me in goal, and I was like, "What? Why would you even put me in goal?" Like
yeah. That sounds weird.
the goal's huge compared to me. But somehow I used to jump out of the way of the ball, but somehow I jump into the way of the ball. So I had this natural skill of jumping the wrong way, and I'd save the ball by the ball bouncing off my head. Usually, that's probably what happened. That's probably where it all went wrong.
Yeah.
But so looking for stuff, we were talking about
Yeah. Video stuff.
films, filmmaking.
The first point that I did write down, and I don't care if this is, if I'm telling this, this is just a test.
Mm-hmm.
The tools that we use
Yeah,
to make videos.
yeah. This is like the well, I use Vegas. I use different cameras. I use Vegas as an editing tool. I use a long walking stick as kind of a steady cam. I use GoPros a lot. I use my phone. I have a Sony phone. And I use a Pentax, a 10-year-old Pentax with a 30-year-old 50mm lens on it, which works with everything that's really close to it. So when it comes to tools or making films, even though something might be very old, it works well with something very close to it.
Yeah, I think with the optics, nothing has really changed much with the lenses and stuff.
I've seen these Sony. There's a Sony. What is it called? It's a mirrorless camera. It's a new Sony camera. It's an A7 or A37 or something like this. A7 Mark III. That camera you can attach Pentax lenses to. So I have Pentax lenses from the 70s all the way through the 90s, and then maybe two lenses from 2010. But majority of my lenses would be all manual, and maybe around 60s and 70s. And you can get the Pentax lenses for quite cheap. Like you can get a 50mm 1.2 for maybe €40 online.
Yeah.
Whereas the same lens for a Sony would be maybe say €1,500, €2,000. So I've been looking at those. But you can always think about getting new technology, but it doesn't change the film. Some of the worst or the best films can be using some of the worst technology, or real simple ideas. So it's not always the technology that defines, or how good your technology is, that defines what way your films will be made. Like the one that you made, just to go back to that one. Can you bring up that video, the Monday video? Can you bring that up?
Yeah, I think I can.
What did you make that on? What did you make that with?
It's a good try. We're going to get better at this. This is just test. Let's call it just a test run.
What was the
live
app
test run?
behind that? It's called
it's in the video. So I think it's a reface, and it's free. And it's just it's extremely easy to use. But I also downloaded the Deep Face Lab. So I'm gonna dive into that. I wonder if you get the sound.
Well, what's the tools you're using? Is this deep fake, or what is it? Just to stay on the tools idea.
Here, now you can see. I'm hoping. I wonder if I can put on sound for this. Okay, I'm gonna play.
I'll check it.
Can you hear the sound?
Okay, I'm going to say.
I'll check it.
Can you hear the sound?
No.
Okay.
No.
Fuck.
It's so wrong. It's right. I don't even think you need sound. You know.
Of course it
So
needs
what
sound.
the Reface app takes your face and morphs it onto a moving subject, obviously.
Okay,
And
wait.
they have
I'm
certain
gonna...
songs you can use. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, it has like a ton of videos that you can use. You can. It has a search function, and then it also have a lot of GIFs and still pictures and stuff that I don't like. But it's so much better with sound. Yeah.
Did you make
Because
these all in one day, or was it over a few weeks?
yeah, no, in one day, and then I actually it takes like just seconds to make these videos in the app. You have to watch if you do the free version,
Mm-hmm.
you have to watch some ads, but they're like 15 seconds, and then you get these results, and then you can upload them. But I actually edit them afterwards because they have a lot of redundancy or a lot of frames where I'm not even in the video, and
Okay.
I change the sound a bit. Sometimes I change the music and stuff because I really put a lot of effort, stupidly, to also have it. I want the music to be like emotionally up and down and silly and self-deprecating, and then glamorizing, like it should go up and down, up and down. So I actually spend a ridiculous amount of time and effort just editing this shit, and it's just stupid.
It wasn't stupid. It was very good. I watched it at least twice.
Yeah.
And all the way through. It's very clever. Very clever. So what tool do you use
Pia
for
came
editing?
home. I'm just gonna tell her I'm live streaming now. Pia. So it's live for the world to see.
So I keep my mouth shut.
Hi, Pia.
Or join in, of course. But just so you know.
What tool do you use for editing? What software?
Yeah, it's been if we go to all the 3D stuff, that's a lot. But for just video, I actually do like color grading and to go back to what tools we use or hardware. I do love the GoPros, like secondary cameras, and sometimes they become the main camera, but just to have them there and record something. And then you preferably in school we could use like a Blackmagic camera, which is I think like in the
I've heard of the Blackmagics. Yeah.
Like it's below 2,000 euros, and it's like the step under the red cameras that are like 20,000 euros. But it's kind of close, and it's such a huge step in cost.
There's community projects I work on, and I get them to rent cameras. So we get these. I'm not sure if it's a Sony 180, but I rent cameras once a year. Sorry, but for each project it's once a year. So it might be twice a year, 3 times a year. And when you get these rented cameras, they're 8,000 euro cameras.
Yeah.
You get these cameras, you get this beautiful, beautiful tripod with beautiful pan. So you can pan, and they have a beautiful zoom, really defined speed. So you can
Yeah.
fast zoom, slow zoom. And I do these cabaret things where it's kids or people singing on a stage. And when people want to watch the show later, they want to see their kid or they want to see a close up, So I have a lot of freedom to zoom in, zoom
Yeah.
out, track back and forth. But when you're given these cameras, when you get them from the rental company, they have the old footage on them from the last person who rented it. They have 8 minutes of tape remaining, right? So
Yeah.
if you just turn this thing on and try and record, it'll say you'll be halfway through 5 minutes and it'll say 8 minutes remaining. And I've had this happen during a live event where I'm inside the brain of the camera trying to delete these old clips that somebody else who
That's
rented
horrible.
the camera.
That's stressful.
It's horrible, but it's such good, so good to keep in touch with the technology.
Yeah.
Because some of these cameras are amazing. Have you seen some of the new iPhones? Have you seen some of this technology?
No, but I heard like the iPhone 14 is like you get like a 4K Euro camera, but very cheap. I mean, you get like the same quality in an iPhone.
It's not amazing, but as a photography camera, it seems to have some sort of infrared pickup. The 13 and the 14 have some sort of infrared pickup that when you do the sky at night, they can pick up infrared. I was testing one out recently, and it was in the dark, and there was a bird on a beach, and the camera picked up the bird's infrared signature on the beach.
Oh,
I thought it was an anomaly, but it was actually a bird. And if you zoomed in on it, you could make out this white pattern that was a bird. So
I don't know if it's
some filter thing or something going on.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the same or a different thing, but we bought one to the studio. I mean, at the moment, an iPhone. It was my first time using an iPhone. I'm not a fan, but that's only because I have no experience. I don't really like smartphones, but I've gotten used to Android. So iPhone was a struggle just getting into. But anyway, we bought it because it has a depth camera, it's called. And we can use it for facial motion capture.
And what does that mean? Depth camera? Is it DEPTH? Depth?
No, yeah, I think it uses because they have like different several lenses.
Mm-hmm.
Like they can see the depth of things, like eyes can. If you have two eyes, you have a depth perception.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that is it, or otherwise it has some other way of doing it. And I would think maybe they're using like infrared or something to do that.
That's
because they don't.
Yeah,
because they don't need the color information. So to do
just
that.
Going back to color grading and stuff like this. I always, I use the tools to correct some of the things that are wrong with the cameras.
Yeah.
And I've always been into color balance or white balance. One of the ways that I do white balancing is I'll zoom in on black. I won't zoom in on white. I'll zoom in on black or on a shadow or something like that. And if there's red pixels in the shadow, I'll reduce the red. If there's blue pixels in the shadow, I'll reduce the green. Reduce the blue. And if there's green pixels in the shadow, I'll reduce the green. I'm just wondering, how do you deal with it yourself, or in your editing software?
It's interesting because also this is I'm absolutely a beginner, and I have no problem talking about the stuff I'm not that familiar with. But going back to Blackmagic, they also have the Davinci software that you can download for free.
Okay.
And it's a video editing tool. It's freaking awesome. It's kind of weird that it's free, but I think they use it to promote their cameras in some way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And there you have a great white balance grading, or just color grading in general, because you record it in like raw 4K.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get a graph where it's overexposed and underexposed, and you can just drag it like so it gets within where you want it to be. And it's like a 5-minute thing to do. And the tutorial that shows you how to do it is only like 5 minutes, which is always welcome for most people.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
so you have a comment there. Davinci is also said to support Linux very well. Unfortunately, I've never had the opportunity to test it myself.
You should definitely test it. It's an awesome software, and especially it's free. Davinci. I don't know for how long it's going to be free, but yeah, it's awesome. Some people don't like it because the export function is kind of not counterintuitive, but once you get through that stuff, it is an awesome software, totally legitimately free.
Mm.
And you can use it for whatever you recorded with.
I saw some of your videos that you put up recently. You were showing some of the not Unreal Tournament. What is it called? What is that?
Unreal Engine.
Unreal Engine. What is that a game? Is that from the Unreal Tournament game? Is it?
Yeah, but it's so weird. I think the short version is it started out as a game engine.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for reminding me to take care of it again, says Thomas Tornevall. Thomas Tornevall. Which is a friend from way back. So it's fun to see him here. Yeah, you should definitely take care of it immediately. But anyway, the short version is Unreal Engine. Started out as a game engine. And then now it's like the biggest, hottest, trendiest. It doesn't have to be the best, but it really is the hottest, trendiest software for virtual production, and they use it for the TV show Mandalorian and stuff, and you can make video mixed with 3D awesome in it.
I saw some guy, we were talking about this earlier, this guy with a drone. So one thing I noticed about the drones is if you've a point of interest and the drone goes around the point of interest, visually you get this 3-dimensional size perspective feedback just from flying around it, just visually. But there's people
that's what some while I remember it, because a lot of people don't get, if you have like these LED walls behind you, which is 3D, and you move the camera, they don't get why you need why it couldn't just be like a still photograph, but you get the parallax. So if you have like a stone close to you and a stone far away and you move the camera, they're going to behave differently. So having it with the logic and actually 3D space calculated in, that's one plus. There are several pluses. And also you get all the reflections and lighting and stuff in real time. And they can just, well, let's make it night. Let's make it morning. And the lighting will be the same lighting on the actors. So it's really, the director can see what he's going to get as a final output. Even
like
in
mapping software almost, or
yeah,
interesting. Yeah, to see the progression. It's nice that you upload your videos, you know, it could be every couple of weeks or sometimes every month or two, but it's nice to see some of the projects that you're working on.
Yeah, but I'm also just feels like I'm always way behind, because when I cross, yeah, that was something we talked about before. When I come across a technical threshold, it's like, oh, now I can do a lot of stuff I couldn't do before. But then I make a stupid video that doesn't really show it because I didn't know how to use it. But I think potentially some niche person in the business will get it. But it's like,
well,
now I want to start from scratch. And
it's the exploration. It's the
Yeah, yeah.
exploration. I think we were saying that earlier. It's this exploring the technology.
Yeah. And also that
people don't get it sometimes, that it's like that film that I was telling you about, the one where it's reversed halfway through. Somebody was asking me, you know, do I think that there's elves or little people?
Yeah.
And when I'm out in nature, or when the film gets made afterwards, I do think that this energy manifests its way. Some people might see a little elf, or I do think the energy manifests itself in the creativity aspect, or in the results that come out. They may not be there, but my interpretation is that sometimes a film wants to be made, and is that a technology or a method, or is it the little people, or is it just messing around and exploring? I think it's a little bit of everything. But
yeah, I don't think
do people get it is the thing. I don't think people always get it. Definitely people appreciate it, though. Like,
yeah,
they appreciate
really
that you're expressing yourself.
I think I'm on both sides of this, but I've become more embracing of technology than I used to be. I could rant about this for a long time, but the short version is, I still think that we're missing out the experience of the older movies, the great movies, when they were on location. They filmed in 24 frames per second or 48, like in Goodfellas, and sometimes he used that to slow down and get like some Robert De Niro's smile to fit perfectly with the music. Is pretty damn awesome if you look at the making of Goodfellas. But also all the happy accidents, as they call it, like the weather turns, and then this actually fits really well, and something falls over. You're not gonna get that with 3D stuff in the background. It's not gonna randomly fall over. And I also have a hard time with the 48 frames per second videos on Netflix, the 4K. I mean, it looks like you're watching Glamour or some soap opera. I don't know. And they're telling me, well, it's just because you're not used to it. And I was open to that idea for a long time, but
It's strange, isn't it? It's strange once you get into 60 frames a second. That frame rate.
I'm starting to question it, because it looks like games and or soap operas. And maybe there's something missing that could counter, because of course it should be better with a higher frame rate, but it's not. And maybe we need something else technical to counter it. I don't know.
It's like what you were saying with the Apple phone. You know, they've introduced this what's it called, bokeh, into an electronic bokeh.
Yeah.
And that, like, when I look at red and blue in a video, the reason I want to balance red and blue right is because for the viewer, even though I've been there, I can see the river, I can see the trees. For the person who's viewing it, they only get correct depth perception if I've corrected red and blue. If I have blue in that video, and sometimes I'm lazy and I just leave the blue there, or can't get it out because it's in a mid layer, and I can't get the blue out properly. And I know visually it's not right for the viewer. And I do know that that somebody gets their depth perception, even if it's just a bland video, they're getting it, or a bland fixed focus lens like a GoPro. If the blue and red are incorrect, they're still not able to determine the distance that something is from them. So I think that's what, I don't know, I see a lot of Netflix stuff and it's got this 24 frames and it's almost sickening to me to watch because I'm so used to...
Are you meaning
48? 60 frames. I know, I see this...
okay,
this,
60, yeah.
I see these 24 or...
But 24 was the old standard.
But there's like a staccato to it. It when you're watching it, it kind of moves like... The stuff moves like this. And I'm like, have they stretched it, compressed it? They've stretched it to give that effect. They've stretched their frames. But anyway, as you say, everybody's adapting to a whole new set of technology, new cameras, the 3D environments.
But also
it's like a playground.
But also part of my skepticism is that they also told me that if you're using too much depth of field on like a 3D scene, it's gonna look a miniature because it looks like the macro lenses on a regular camera, like when you're photographing like real miniatures, like these mini figures. Some artists are specializing in that, but everything gets really blurry really fast in the front and the back, and that makes it look like a miniature. And they said that...
Hang on. There's a rule to this. There's an old photography rule, right? That all lenses were created with a rule in them. There's a meter, there's 3 meters, there's 5 meters, there's infinity. Okay.
Yeah.
And the focal lengths were organized like this. When I used to do photography, when I try and teach someone photography, just very basics, I would teach them this number to stay 1 meter. Don't be within a meter. Make sure you've set this meter first from your subject, or 3 meters or 5 meters. Make sure you set that first, and then work with the optics after you've set that distance. So if you have a three-dimensional environment, you must be able to determine those distances too.
Yeah, no, but it's mimicking real world cameras really well. So, and you didn't let me finish. My point was, no, I had like 2 points there. It's easy to go crazy in 3D because you don't really have an actual camera. So you can, the macro camera lenses on real cameras, it was because of physical limitations. So they couldn't really have infinite focus and still get a clear shot of something so small with the camera really close that they had to have. So but what they're saying is that so if you do that in 3D, it's gonna look like it's a miniature because we're so used to looking at these miniature sets from our childhood or whatever when you use stop motion. And I was open to that too, but now because if I take my finger and focus on it close, everything else gets really blurry. So I think it's more mimicking how we interpret.
How we remember.
How we're interpreting the world. If it's too close focus depth, we're gonna interpret this as being very close to us. And if that's a human being, it's gonna be small because it can't be close to us and big if we can see the whole body.
Very interesting.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm open to being wrong. I always am. But yeah, there's a lot of, well, people are just used to this. And when they get used to this new way we're watching stuff, it's going to look better. And it feels a bit weird to me. Like, it doesn't look good now. It's never going to look good.
No, I
I don't
understand.
know.
Yeah, but it's part of it. It's part of it.
I also think,
Just talking about things that are really close up
yeah,
recently, because I work with cables. I work with network cables,
yeah,
and recently I have to have the cable further and further and
yeah,
further
yeah,
away, right? So I've developed. I've actually started wearing glasses for the first time. I'm trying to wear glasses, but I'm not getting there yet. But I have this Oculus, from a set of binoculars. The
yeah,
eyepiece. I
yeah.
have this beautiful piece of glass from a pair of binoculars that I can hold up like a monocle, and I
Yeah,
can
you
hold it
should
up to the
really
cable and
make
look
it
at.
into
Yeah,
Monaco.
I know, yeah, but it's like
Put the
the piece of
golden
a pair of
ring around
binoculars,
it.
and attach it with a nice chain. A nice chain.
Yeah, exactly. That's going into your chest pocket.
Yeah, that's where it goes. Funnily enough, that's where it
Yeah.
goes, into the chest pocket. Mhm. So
No,
what
but
was it? What else on our topics? We're 41
yeah,
minutes in now.
yeah. Damn. Damn.
Mm.
The other, what films we like to make?
Wow. Will I go first or you go first?
If you have anything, you can go first. Otherwise, I have something right off
I
my
like
mind.
I like well, you go first. You go first.
Yeah, it's a bit on the, I don't know, not really technical, but artistic style. Because I do try to actually make all my stuff kind of the same way, like have the same vibe, but it's not really conscious. I'm just happy when it turns out like you can feel some Doug brassiness in it.
Mm, yeah.
But I also like to absolutely try and copy some of my heroes. And it used to be a lot of Kubrick, of course. And but lately I kind of tried to reverse engineer David Fincher, who I'm also a huge fan of.
Mm-hmm.
And they are so different. And one thing about David Fincher, I mean, he really has his own style, and I couldn't, I couldn't create anything of these people's genius artistic, but I can technically look at what they did and kind of emulate that, of course. But the one thing David Fincher does, even to an insane degree, is that he follows the actor in focus, and even when they're nodding, he like ups and downs the camera with the
Yeah,
name. It's
yeah,
insane,
yeah.
and you don't realize it watching, or at least I don't. I'm just there with him, like Gun Girl or Gone Girl, I should say.
There are little things that I would do. So a lot of my cameras, because they're cheap and non-expensive or basic cameras, I can't move them. If I start moving them like this, the algorithm goes real crazy. The way it's trying
Yeah,
to compress the video goes real crazy. So I can't really move cameras. I can move a GoPro because it has a um, internal velocity. It has a G counter, and it's cropping the sensor. What's it called? What's it called in the GoPro? It eludes me. But you can move a GoPro, but a lot of the other cameras I can't move, and a lot of times I have to do a stationary shot. And what I do is I crop in on the shot and then move very slowly. So it's a
yeah,
stationary shot, but it looks like the camera's moving. Um, But just when you were saying about this guy nodding his head, it's the same. Sometimes if I've got a sun up here, I'll start with the clip zoomed in and then pull out. But the camera hasn't moved, but it looks like I've zoomed out and zoomed in somewhere else. And it does, if you can do it very slowly, to people who are used to watching films or people who appreciate optics or visuals, it has to be on that level for them to really appreciate it. You have to put these tiny little movements into a flat shot. That's what I notice I do an awful lot of. I just move it slightly or tilt it. If the camera was tilted, I'll straighten it out and move it, or zoom in and zoom out.
I've never been a fan of the Dutch angle. You know about
What's
that?
the Dutch angle? No, I don't know.
No, you have it like Terry Gilliam's use it a lot for an intense shot. You have like the camera like this.
Okay.
And like Bruce Willis in 12 Monkeys. No, what's it called?
Purely accidental. Yeah.
No. It's very deliberate. And there are also some Tom Cruise moves. And it kind of works because it makes you feel disoriented and uneasy. And it's called a Dutch angle for some reason. Better than a Dutch, I guess. Anyway.
Well, I like to make... I remember reading years ago that filmmaking was about motivating in others, activating in others, and inspiring.
I just have to say, Aphidlip is here now. Hello, Aphidlip. And also, he said image stabilization, like a gimbal.
Like a gimbal. Yeah, but it's called, what is it called? It's not a velociraptor. That's a bloody dinosaur. What is it called? It's I noticed that when I was on a ship one time, and I left my camera on a helmet, and the ship was moving.
Something with inertia?
It's an inertial. It's like an inertial navigation unit. It is called. What is it called? It'll come to me, but it's like a gimbal. Yeah. There's certain limitations to it. What the GoPro is doing is it's measuring these G-forces for the velocity.
You have that in
and then it's cropping the image.
Well.
It's cropping the image at the same time.
I've actually had to dive into that a bit because I'm stuck now with... No, I'm not stuck, but I mean, I'm doing motion capture a lot. I want to be more on the creative side, and it's part of it, but it's so technical. That's why I was stuck with it, because I love the creative stuff. Anyway, so we have a part of it is active tracking, and there you use also the inertia thingy, where it's like a phone. It knows where it's headed, and it knows its rotation. So you can predict where it's going, and then you can blend it actually. So you can use like 40% of that and 40 or 60% of the tracking or whatever you want. So you get the best of both worlds and all that stuff.
You know, there's limitations once you go past this. So if I hold a GoPro in my hand, my brain will forget about it, and I'll look back and my hand will have tilted. It will have tilted past the angle that this thing can process correctly, the changes. And that's why I put it on a stick, and the stick, a walking stick, will try and find, it's trying to find center all the time. Yeah. Right? So if, it won't allow me to go over. It's trying to push me back to center all the time. Yeah. And what I've noticed is with, say, 5.5 foot of ash tree or Hollywood. Hollywood is one of my favorites, but Hollywood or ash is one of the best for doing some sort of cinematic shots, you know, where you I love it. Walk forwards. So I like to walk forwards with something and then reverse the clip so that it's much smoother. You can't walk backwards as good as you can walk forwards.
True.
So I'll walk forwards to something, and then reverse the clip, and it looks like I'm flying into this thing, you know.
Yeah,
But it's
I've
just
seen some of
tricks.
that stuff, and I love it. You know, I love it. Everything that's kind of Steadicam-ish, I love. I don't know if it's a Kubrick love, but Steadicam and also his one-point perspective.
Well, I think
and
it's
also,
the influence. You know, when you watched Kubrick, when you saw The Shining, and you saw that clip with the kid on the three-wheel bike.
Yeah, exactly.
It was this fascination to repeat what you were a fan of, and I see
it's
that
kind of
totally.
funny because it's so overdid the Steadicam in The Shining, but it doesn't feel like that. Even today, it's like, he got away with it. He overly used Steadicam. It was like the first movie. I don't know if Rocky was before, but anyway. He was pioneering, and he was like an engineer making his own cameras and stuff for Barry Lyndon to have it not use fake lighting, candlelight. It's insane. But also, I think that's one reason I love the GoPro. It's one and like autofocus, which I kind of both love and hate. But if it's something I miss with the GoPros, it's the ability to focus.
Well, I don't think on my GoPro I have focus, but I can set linear, wide, or super wide, and most of the stuff I do would be with linear, and maybe 2.7K rather than 4K. Has been kind of somewhere I'm at, and always turning down the brightness. So I've noticed over the last year, anyway, with my nature stuff, I'll remove the gamma. I won't touch anything else. I'll just go in and remove all the gamma, almost all the gamma out of the levels, and it will give me and I'll also have ISO 100 only. So I won't let the camera be able to switch between 100 and 400. I just shove it to 100 and make it stay there. And obviously, if you walk into somewhere very dark, you've nothing. There's nothing left. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But to try and get the colors I want or the quality,
but something that's kind of good. I kind of like that when it's like black and you have to light it and see how it comes alive.
I think that's what works with 60 frames. Because I can't go back from 60 frames a second now. There's no way back for me. I just
really
can't do
I'm the
anything
opposite.
else.
I'm the opposite. I'm going more and more towards 24. I even
it's weird.
We had a motion capture session, and I knew the client was gonna use it at 60 frames. I said, why don't we? Because usually we want to record it as high frame rate as possible. We can record at 360 frames per second or 1000, but then you get these huge files and a lot of data, and then you drag it into software, and it takes time just to scrub it and all that stuff. And then one client, we're going to use 60 frames. And then I said, well, let's try and record at 60 frames. We don't need to record at the high frame rate if that's what you're going to use. We did that, worked awesomely. And then I tried it myself later. Maybe we should record at like 30 frames or 48. Why not? If we're not going to use the other data, it's just, and it's also the same thing with 4K. I love it because I can zoom in, but really, do I need to? It's
just
rare.
if there's movement, right? The reason I like 60 is I can slow 60 down without getting these anomalies. But and I don't use if I pan the camera from here to here, I don't use that piece. I cut this whole piece out because it's ugly. It's just smeared data.
And I I love slow motion, as you probably know.
Yeah. I do
And-
so much
but-
slow-mo, and you wouldn't know it was slow-mo. You know, you just
Yeah,
think
but
it's
it
60 frames per
requires
second.
so much light to be
Yeah.
good outdoors, and people who don't film usually don't know this. But outdoors, you get so much light, even on a cloudy day. It's insane. You can always do slow motion, but if you're in a restaurant and it feels like it's a light setting,
It's not really.
yeah, it's like
Or you
black.
see LEDs strobing.
Yeah, and you're gonna get that flickering. Shit.
I really want to look up what that stabilization is called. It's like it's a velocity measurement. It's like a I don't know. I have had the word in my mind for 3-4 years, how it works. But it is, what was it you called it? It was like it was like what they
Inertia.
have on an inertial navigation, an inertial velocity or something like this. Anyway,
Yeah, they're calling these like pucks they put on. It's like the same thing that are in iPhones, but I think there's a bit more specialized.
it's
And
much
they're
more
called-
specialized than a GoPro.
Yeah, it's
Much
called
more specialized.
IMUs, and the I is for inertia. M, I think, is
Yes.
magnetic. U, I have no idea.
Yeah.
But I can maybe put this in here. We're looking up at stuff. I can see if I can show some what I'm doing right now. And I can make a new video here in Unreal Engine. And you see, it's pretty good. It's not great.
I need to go back to the full screen on YouTube. Just 1 second. Okay, yeah. Wow.
And what am I doing? So I can pretty much like start this wherever I want. And this is the guy. This is my boss that I've tried to make a 3D version of. I'm gonna make him from scratch better.
Savage.
Yeah. But you see, oops, I'm in a building. Literally.
Wow.
And I can then just put keyframes where I want the camera to start and
That
where I
is
want it to
incredible.
end. Yeah.
It's absolutely amazing.
And it's animated using motion capture, but I haven't cleaned it, so I can fix it up. But this is like no effort at all to record and make. It's kind of cool. And then you also have all the camera tools. I can change the focal length or whatever.
Oh, here we go. I can do full screen on my screen here. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I can.
And
turn
this
this off.
this cityscape, is that somewhere that you?
It's actually from the Matrix experience. So it's a free asset. I haven't done anything. I could do this, but it would take me a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, as we talked about previously before this, I'm so into using free assets nowadays. Especially if I know how to make them myself. I'll just customize what I need to customize.
It's like what you were saying about having a house. It might take you a week to make the house,
Yeah,
but then you can use that whatever way you want, or you can use it in so many different ways.
yeah, and if I'm gonna have a city, I can just create hero assets that's gonna be close if I want them made from scratch, or I can use a free asset, customize whatever I don't like about it,
So the
or
future,
just customize it to make it original.
the future, was that one of the things we were going to talk about? We're supposed to do comedy. Have we got a joke for today? No? Have we got a joke?
You can't command a joke. Thought my first anecdote was awesomely funny, but in a depressing way.
Oh, true.
Yeah, we do have history of our films. We don't need to go into any of this. And we have what we want to do. And
Well, I think
vegan hater. The vegan hater.
The vegan hater. Yeah, well, that brings us back to where we met.
Yeah.
And our friends there. And what a little playground that was, eh? The old Live League. It was such a playground.
Is it distracting with me?
No, I'm just watching it, actually. I think it's better to watch this than talk about Live League.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna make a quick camera setup here, and maybe it will be interesting. Because first, of course, I'm not really... I'm a noob at Unreal. So I want him...
Right, I'm going to continue cleaning my
that
office then.
way.
I'll be watching at the same time.
Yeah, and I want him out in the street. Why does it jump back to this when I don't have any keyframes? I don't get it.
So would you have done motion capture of your boss jumping there to be able to get that footage of him jumping, or are you able to just put his face onto a model and then it jumps? Or
yeah, that's the thing. I can use whatever. I can easily change the 3D model.
Okay.
Afterwards, so it could be whatever. Where did it go? Where are you?
So I went looking for some. Can you hear me while you're doing that? Yeah. Can you listen?
Yeah.
To me? I went looking for some files from 2014 the other day.
Yeah.
I thought I had everything on particular hard drives or old computers or whatever, but I thought I had everything saved, accessible. And I went looking for this particular wedding or a photograph of a wedding, and I couldn't find it anywhere. I was like, where is 2013 and 2014? Where is it gone? And then why my office is in bits is because I need to find one of these things, which is like a drive interrogator, right? Like a caddy. You know, these things where you put a hard drive into it.
Yeah.
And talk to hard drives. I had to find one that worked, first of all. And then there's this crossover between IDE and SATA. And it's like, well, which one is it? And then I was on my 4th hard drive before I found 2013. But there's stuff I haven't seen in 10 years. It's nearly 10 years since 2013. I mean, December, it's going to be 10 years. And it's weird. I found loads of different things, loads of stuff from... I don't know, what year did we meet? When was that? When did you... Do you remember? No?
No.
Is there anybody still in our chat? Has anybody lasted this long?
Yeah, I don't know. But I don't know.
People watching.
I was late in
me.
LL. Yeah. I registered in 2011. Well, late. That's freaking 11 years ago.
I don't know if anybody was ever late. There was always pulses. I thought I was late to it.
Yeah.
And then a load of people who were there stopped being there.
But
And
then there were
another-
also these idiots like, I miss the Ugrish days. And then they
Yeah, I
have
don't know where that came
registered
from.
like, they
I
were
don't know
like
where that came from.
15 years old and registered like 10 years after Ugrish died.
Mm.
And I was never a fan of Ugrish.
I think people who didn't know what was going on in the background, Lively was kind of like a bulletin board, BBS or something, you know? And if you
But
just
that's
looked at
kinda-
the videos, you didn't see this stuff. And especially if you weren't logged in. If you weren't logged in, you couldn't even see comments, I don't think, at the end. Could you? I think they turned all that stuff off. You couldn't even see the commentary anymore in the background. That was what made the place.
Yeah. Probably right.
Can I put anything on here? Can I upload something? No?
Yeah. If we go back to this, I think if you do you have a present button in the bottom?
Hey, this is pretty cool. Thanks.
Oh, Brian, design guy.
What is it? Is there somebody else here?
Aphidlip on his real account. He made a faux pas, but I think he's safe with his real account on here. There's nobody watching my videos, Aphidlip. You're not gonna be doxxed.
Those were the days. Those were the days. Getting doxxed.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
we
think,
were
yeah,
also talking about that. I was
It was,
fucking.
it was quite a
I mean,
popular thing back then.
this is gonna jinx it, but I was a freaking king when it comes to handling haters.
Yeah, I don't know if I was.
Because they ended up, some of them ended up as freaking
Friends,
Yeah.
Travis is my friend. I'm still in contact with Travis, and a good few people.
And I
actually.
think the key point, and it's hard sometimes when they just want me to kill myself, but if I could get them to be more specific what they hated, and then I could agree to some of it if I could agree to it, and then disagree with the stuff I didn't agree with, and tell that calmly, they usually actually became human.
Yeah.
Decent.
Well, I think that's what you knew from producing stuff, is that everybody had a heart that was there. They were maybe just misinterpreting it, that you were what was it? You're a not a camera.
And I
whore,
was
an
never
attention
really.
whore. You're an attention whore, Duke.
Yeah.
An attention whore.
Was that me?
Maybe we shouldn't say that word. Sorry, I'll have to scratch that.
Yeah, that's.
But that was the
offensive
word
to
that was
attention
used
whores.
back in the day.
Why shouldn't we use that word?
I don't know. People did use that word though. Owen used to call me a blow-in. That's so true.
Were you though? Were you?
Those were the days. Those were the days, my friends.
But also one person, he called himself J.R. Stressman. He was awesome in dealing with.
Yeah.
Someone called him a clown, and he went and he
dressed
made
like
this
a clown.
video. Yeah, you spoiled the twist ending. But yeah,
Sorry,
he went
sorry.
out and bought all the clown stuff just to make a video about how he wasn't a clown, and then put on all that shit he bought. It's crazy.
When I started working in IT, I remember there was a band called they were called Umbop, Hanson. Now I was probably 10 years in IT at this stage, but I got this job in a in an office, and I had long blonde hair, and they started calling me Hanson or something like this. Well, I went down to the music store and bought the biggest poster of Hanson I could possibly find, and stuck it on the door of my office and scribbled out Hanson and wrote IT department. And I think if you've grown up with people who slag you off or call you names, you do learn to embrace it. It's the only way, is to love your problems to death, you know?
Yeah, sure.
Well, that's what I learned. You kind of embrace them. You probably find that they are your best friend.
Yeah, it's weird.
I'm trying to see if I can find an old render from the old days. Maybe it's good I can't find them.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of when Lilac died and everything got deleted. It was pretty upsetting, but also, I don't know, kind of a relief.
True. Yeah. One thing I maybe you don't want to talk about it, but I found out recently about Sloop, and it's the second time it's come into my mind. So I thought I'd just have a moment of reflection for him.
Yeah, it was actually really emotional for me when it happened, but now it's been like 6 months. And I can talk about it. It's no worries. But it's been weird. It's been so many deaths lately. But I guess that comes with age.
Yeah. So if you want something for Halloween, right? Give me something to work on. Is it?
Yeah.
Is it a forest? Is it a fire? Is it?
No, I think you're...
Is it walking through a forest with a flame like this?
Walking through a forest in Ireland is already awesome.
Yeah.
So everything, I mean, you have like perfect nature there that looks just great. And especially with you filming it. So if we could add something stupid to that, or good.
Well, I'm just trying to think of what to think of when I'm out there. I'll try something and I'll send it to you, and then you see if you like it. I have one idea. So
I also have an idea, but I'm not gonna say it on the live thingy here.
Okay. I'm going camping. That's my plan this week. I need to go camping.
Yeah.
At some stage.
What the hell?
I saw Aphid Lip. I always had a problem with his name. I could never pronounce it. I was like, what is that? What is that? Aphid Lip?
No one can pronounce.
But they've been doing a show called Steve's Hotel or Steve's Bar or something like this. Steve's International Bar. Have you seen this?
Yeah. Smoke Steve's International Bars. I've been on it. I love it.
Were you? Okay.
Yeah.
I saw that guy from Florida on it there recently. It's such a good suntan. I was like so jealous. It was like in Ireland, you've got like 4 days to get your suntan. If you don't get them on those 4 days, it's not going to happen.
Okay. That sounds really dumb.
Yeah. People think it's nice here. It's always cold. It's freezing.
Oops. easy. This is what's the problem. Vad fan börjar han prata?
What sculpture is to a block of marble, education is to the soul. Joseph Addison.
Yeah, I think this is not.
That's all right.
McGrand.
Oh yeah.
Philip brought him up. Yeah,
I think it was the
that's
sun
that's
that
one
gave
guy.
it away.
I tried to help him, but yeah, I couldn't. I even
I think,
made videos.
when you're gonna leave people for a long time. I noticed this over the years when people are gonna leave, or they're gonna travel, or they're going away for a while. One of the things that happens is they end up having an argument, and I definitely think it is to do with, or having reflected on it, on these situations over the years, it is because it's easier to leave people on an argument. And you've no idea behind people that we know or knew what's going on with them or why there's an argument. The other thing that I realized over the years is people who are suffering grief. So somebody who's lost somebody, they also might find it easier to have an argument rather than dance. And I think it should be music and dance rather than arguments. We didn't have enough music back in 2012. I don't know if we were allowed music, were we? I don't think you were allowed to have music.
No, we could have music.
Yeah.
Are you John Lithgow in Footloose?
So what are you doing here? What are you doing with this? I'm intrigued. You've moved him into the middle of the road.
Yeah.
You're zooming in. You're zooming in, are you? Is this it?
Yeah, I'm trying to do swoosh. But I'm gonna flip it. I'm gonna switch it. It doesn't look. I don't know. It's gonna look a lot better, of course, but I don't know. Should the camera keep moving?
Yeah. Can you move it? Can you move it slightly?
Yeah.
Can you change the speed and stay zooming in?
But I don't get. I think this is good because I need to show like the motion capture. Is this? Complete creative freedom here. I think this is pretty good. And I usually like to switch these to linear, but this could be a slow down. Should I keep
I wonder,
the camera moving?
You're zooming from really far away down the street, right? But could
Yeah.
you halve the distance to him and slow down the zoom process so that it's the same length of time?
Yeah.
Because it's still quite beautiful, even from the streetlights part, rather than the second street behind.
Yeah. So this should be halfway. There.
From there, and then slow down how you. It is nice though, or can you jump forward?
It's like start. I do want to show
Yeah,
some
the
of
height. Yeah. I wonder, can you go down to his feet and look up at him as you get close to him? So look up, pan up.
Oopsie days. Maybe this would be cool. Zoom in from here. Let's try.
I liked your height as well. The height was nice with the street lights going by the center of the frame. It was quite cool.
Yeah, but now I'm going rogue. Let's try it.
Now I'm going rogue. Yeah, cool.
This is pretty cool, I think.
And then go down to feet level, or look at the street and look back at from where you've come from. You know, I always call it the wedding shot. The wedding shot for me is.
Yeah, but he's talking. That's the problem. He's talking, and I cannot know his face when he's talking.
Yeah, okay. I always think about, you know, if you're trying to put somebody into a story, you kind of have to give them where they are, you know? Kind of, I call it the wedding shot. It's kind of like you show them the outside of the church, even though it means nothing.
Yeah. It's establishing shot. That's good. Maybe even lower. Ooh. Kind of like this somehow.
I have a big box of tables here. I don't need that. Memory lane is just no. I don't need to go there. I need to wait until 10 years have passed, then go down memory lane. So I'm going to disconnect this hard drive. I found 2013, and 2013 can go back in its box and stay there for another decade. So I'm going to do these. Did I ever tell you about the legacy project stuff that I do?
No.
I never told you about that. So when I rent these cameras, I usually try and organize an interview with somebody. So, and it takes a while to build the person up to actually accepting doing an interview. I could do a legacy project with you right now if you wanted to, but it's questions. The questions in themselves are questions about, you know, what was your bedroom like when you were a kid? What do you remember of certain aspects of your childhood? And what the questions do is they kind of bring you down a stepping stones or a ladder down to your memories, right? It's a beautiful, beautiful process, but it's called the Legacy Project. It was invented by some people to kind of harness the information that's being lost in society. So people don't go to church as much anymore, and they don't go to the pub as much anymore, and they're losing connection with each other, and they're losing small bits of information being transferred between an old person and a young person. And this is the reasoning behind the Legacy Project, is to try and identify old games that people played, old methods that people used, and information, and so that it's not lost. But the only way you can do it is to videotape and document. But I've done a few of them over the years. One of them, I had to spend 17 hours with this guy. I came back to his nursing home 17 times. And realistically, I just wanted to ask him about a particular subject, but he really wanted to talk about his whole life. And that's what I ended up doing. But I'm renting a camera in November, and I'm trying to line up people to do these legacy projects. So it's really difficult. Interviewing somebody isn't as easy as you think. It's not. A memory can be just triggered out of nowhere, and they'll talk for 4 minutes about this memory. And realistically, you've maybe 40 minutes maximum of time and information that that somebody else will watch. You know, you can't sit somebody and say watch 17 hours of this guy and enjoy it. It's not enjoyable.
Yeah, that's also one thing I want to learn and try is because one of my trademarks, like yeah, but still, is making way too long videos, and I mean, I think the best there, you don't have to go that far, is watching commercials on TV where it's like 2 second clips all the time,
Yeah,
and
the
they
human
can
mind
really,
is exceptional. That's the one thing I learned from making films is the human mind. You can remove so much information and it'll still figure out what's going on. And
yeah,
like what you're saying, the length is always the struggle. Sometimes you
yeah.
can go too much, but then there's people that appreciate your long video, you know. So
I don't know if they do, and also like my boss, but we're on really friendly terms. The last video I did, I sent it to him, and it was 7 minutes long, and also had him doing obscene stuff with motion capture. That was really unprofessional. And I said, "What do you want me to change? I can, of course, delete the obscene stuff if you want to." And he said, "Yeah, delete the obscene stuff and keep it 2 minute maximum." And this was a 7 minute video. So I cut it down to 5 minutes and then said, "Yeah, I can't cut it down to 2 minutes, but I can send you all the video without the music, and you can because if you cut it down, it's gonna have to reapply music, and you can edit it how you want." And he said, "No, it's fine, it's fine." But yeah, maybe like 2 minute video would have been better actually. But also, like I told him, I put all the way too long stuff at the end, like one big stretch, so people get bored. They've seen all the important, relevant stuff,
true.
and then
Yeah.
yeah. But still, maybe with all these algorithms and shit, maybe it's better to have a like 158 should probably if you're above 2 minutes you're probably in a different category, but I don't really want to think about that.
I think it's definitely the if you look at attention span, you've got about a minute. What I've found is if you make a video of the entire film that you make and make it to 1 minute 38 seconds, that effectively can become a very good intro into the film, right? And that's
Yeah,
what I think humans when they're watching a film, or people when they're watching a film, their interest is either connected or not within those few minutes. So that's where the 1 minute 38 second video comes from, or the 2 minute 15 second video comes from, or the Instagram video, or like you say, the commercial advertisement can be 12 seconds long and still get an amazing amount of points across, you know, an amazing transfer of information within 12 seconds even. So it is strange, and I don't think there is a particular rule that fits everything. I don't think that there is a rule. It's one of the difficulties with creating films or videos or whatever you want to call it, is you just don't know what's going to work. I found a song. I did that Vikings video there a couple of weeks ago, maybe back in August. And the song, I had not intended. Sometimes I'll wake up with a song when I go out, and I'll edit with that song in my mind. And not with the song in my mind, but I might be singing that song or playing that song in my head the whole time, and that will give a particular pace to my video making. But But that particular song I found when I came back after shooting the event, and within the song there were 2 breaks in the music, and I used them because I had 3 sections of subject matter. There was kind of like the preparation of the people of the day, there was the actual day, and there was the evening, the last part of the day. So there was these 3 defined sections. But the music that I found, it was a free song online I found, and it had these 2 little pulses in it where it slowed down and speeded up again. And I just thought, this is amazing. It really did. I got that tingle. You know, when you get that tingle when you do something that worked. Yeah, that tingle.
Yeah, I had such an happy accident with music on a video like a year ago.
Were you documenting something? Was it something that you had to film?
No, unfortunately, but it was an animation. But then he made this move, and then I added music to it. And just as he made the move, which was a slow kind of out of place move that was a bit random that he made, and the music went like meow and then started again, and it was just so perfect. It was like, what the hell?
Nice.
People are going to think I timed this or like put so much effort into this, and it just happened.
And it just happened.
Yeah.
But
then I usually actually when
David or Duke, it didn't just happen. You know, it's there's no just happening with it. You know, even to spot that, or to spot when something is just like, oh my god, that's just right. It's one of the things you mightn't hit it every 10th video, or every 3 videos, or every 40 videos, but when it's there, it's lovely. It could be once a year. I actually think those lucky ones are once a year. You know. Well, for me, anyway, I'm not going to talk about anyone else.
No, it's true.
Oh, it's so warm in here.
You need to open a window.
It's probably the hat. The woolly hat isn't doing any favors. That's for sure. And the North Face mountain jacket, that's not going to help. You don't mind me cleaning up while we're talking, do you? I'm just going to do this. It's been really annoying me. I can't work in an environment that isn't. I can work, but I don't like working in an environment that's where I pull the guts out of my whole office.
I can work on my fucking deathbed.
You can.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
I don't prefer it though.
I went hiking last week, and we found a full deer skull with antlers attached to it. Let's see if I can put up a picture here. Let me see if I can do this, because for the next time we do this, let me just send this to myself and then send it to you.
What do you think of this, by the way? Take a glance. I'm going to play it now. There it starts talking. Doesn't have to be perfect. But
no, it's nice. It's good. Yeah, it is really good. The change in angle's good. I think towards the end you could probably keep changing the angle. You know, you shift it up from right to left, and then he turns his back when he's talking. Can you keep that movement all the way through? Is it difficult to keep that movement? Like you're coming up from the ground, up and turning around him from right to left. Yeah, see the way and then he turns the opposite way, but you could still catch his face. Anyway, it's really good. No, like I don't know how difficult this is, so that's why I'm saying stupid
No,
things.
yeah.
Just forgive me. I know not what I do. Hang on, I changed my face.
No. It's
I'm getting
actually
bored with my
really,
face.
it's really good advice. I'm just not gonna overdo this particular scene because I'm gonna slaughter it in editing.
Oh, that didn't work.
And yeah, and at the moment, that's the boring part right now. I can't really polish anything. You just have to spit out a lot of frames.
Oh, I think I've broken it. Have I? I have broken it. Oh no. What did I do?
Yeah, you love those Snapchat filters.
There we go. Oh, I've broken it again. Oh, Google Earth. Google Earth is broken. There we go. We're back.
For FPS. It's too bad. I have to get how you can present something or share screen and have the desktop audio included.
So it'll be somewhere.
No, you're gonna
gonna find this
play with
picture.
that forever now.
I'm not. I won't. I'll go back. Hang on. I'm going back.
Just choose one and stick with it,
Okay,
and that's fine.
I'm staying with it. Okay, here I come.
Otherwise, you're just gonna play
I'm
with
going
that
back.
forever.
Going back.
You know
There
that.
we go. How's that one? Is that good? That one's good. Gets rid of my Irish whiteness.
Okay, this is the fun
do you have
part.
WhatsApp on your here? I'm gonna I need to try and put this onto the screen.
We should do this as a work session. Now, what we have some points here. What didn't we cover? Yeah, the vegan hater we didn't cover. Do you want to tell it?
The vegan hater. Yeah, I was watching this vegan YouTube channel, and obviously the algorithm knows me quite well, but there was this one comment. They get an awful lot of stick anyway. That just to paraphrase what happened, this particular group, they don't like what happens to piglets and cows, and they've actually gone into one of these. I wouldn't say it was a slaughterhouse, but where they grow cows or pigs. And it was pretty harrowing to see. Like, we all know this stuff happens, right? Everybody knows what happens inside some of these places. Even with the best intentions, a little piglet is going to get rolled over by the mother regardless, right? And die. And this is what she found, and this is what she videotaped. And this is, I think, the argument from, from her anyway, was not the ill treatment of animals, because they know that they're not intentionally always trying to ill-treat animals, but it was that it does happen, breaks her heart, or breaks. I'm going to speak about her because she's the only vegan I know, and it breaks her heart. And anyway, she was getting some stick in the comments section, and it's just people who are voicing their own ideologies, and the argument, as I see it, vegan or not vegan, is just people who lack conviction. You either know it's not for you, or you don't want to hurt animals, so you're vegan. And if you don't really think about it that much, you might still eat meat. It's a pretty basic argument. Anyway, the comment from this particular youth was just meant to hurt, dissuade, be an objection to the way this person taught. And anyway, I followed the username on the comment, and they had videos posted up. So most times these comments wouldn't have a video posted up behind them. They would be just a username from YouTube. And sure enough, there was this video. There was a few videos where they posted up videos. And I scrolled down to the very first video they uploaded, and it was just some young kid in his house with his Minecraft stuff. And I just thought, God help this poor kid, like he's got his whole life ahead of him. And he's just made this comment to be like his friends or be like his peers, or because he doesn't really know what to be. And he still made this comment. And I just looked, but when I looked at him, when I looked at what he was in his, obviously lived with his parents still, was quite young, probably a teenager, at least a teenager. He had his Minecraft toys on the desk, and where his TV was in his bedroom was quite obviously this TV stand was from 1990s. It was obviously his parents or some auntie's TV stand. And his pillow, actually what really set it off for me was in his video, he turned around to his pillowcase, and his pillowcase was all dirty. And I was like, is the animal worse off, or is this poor kid worse off? I just saw this kind of comparison. I just thought, this is the world we live in at the moment, where people can have views and post comments, and it's quite interesting. Anyway, it was funny and sad and a lot of different things, but I just find it fascinating that we have these things like YouTube or vegans and different things.
Damn it, Owen! This story was so much better when you told me it before we recorded.
All right, fair enough.
No,
I'm not gonna. I'm not. I thought it was good. It is.
Yeah, now it was sad and depressing. When you told me it, I thought it was hilarious.
I don't know if it is though. I don't know if it is.
Of course it is, and it's how you present
it's this
it.
poor guy, this poor kid.
Yeah, but he was being a douche, and I think the one side of it is
True.
when you're out online and you get a lot of freaking haters.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these are in a bad place and fighting their own fights, and maybe
that's the point I'm trying to make. Is he's
12 years old, and you can't
feel
take
sorry
it
for them or sad for them, even though they are, giving somebody a really hard time, or you could perceive it as bullying or whatever.
Yeah, but he's probably having it better than the 30 million children who die of starvation each year. So it's always a perspective. I think the more important lesson, and maybe I'm callous or cold, but is that don't hateful criticism too serious, because
don't even give hateful criticism. That's the way.
Yeah, but people are always going to do that.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know if they have to. They always choose hateful criticism.
Yeah, I also
had lived through this. I don't think it's right. I think it stems from something. It's competition, competitiveness. I don't think it's right. And I kind of felt sorry for him. I really did kind of feel sorry for him. I was going to write something to stop him, and when I saw the video, I just went, no. This isn't my thing. I feel sorry for him now.
Yeah, well, if you're an empathic human, if you get to know stuff about the person, you're gonna invest emotionally and feel for him.
Mm.
But it's
anyway, that was my vegan story.
Yeah. Sorry for ruining it, but I think you ruined it because it was good.
Have you got a shovel? Does anyone have a shovel? A spade? I need to dig this deeper. We can dig it deeper.
And then we also had which I don't remember what it was about. Plug and play.
Oh no, it was Plug and Pray.
Plug and pray.
Yeah, so when Plug and Play came out, it first came out in 1995. So before Plug and Play, we had Windows 3.11. And what you had to do if you had a circuit board pre-Plug and Play was you had to assign things with jumpers. So you had two pins.
I remember that. I did that.
3F8 IRQ4. Sound cards were usually on IRQ5. Your parallel port was on 7 or 9 and stuff like this. And a network card would be on 7 and 9. So what Plug and Play was when it came out was they were trying to do this inside the chips. They were trying to assign the IRQs and the physical memory addresses through the chip.
Oh, I remember that. And the SCSI SCSI were a nightmare. Yeah.
So if you got it wrong, what would happen is your mouse would lock up.
Yeah.
And your sound card would stop working, etc. And all these things would happen. And
I have to interrupt again because
let me just finish this bit.
Okay.
So when it came out, instead of Plug and Play, we called it Plug and Pray, because it just didn't work when it first came out. Or we also called it something else, which was plug and prick around with it. So like you'd have to just play with it until it worked.
Yeah.
And if that didn't work, you could still go back to jumpers and do physical jumpers. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. No. Nobody's gonna find this interesting. But I was in.
Somebody will.
No. What I'm gonna tell. I mean, because I was repairing and assembling computers at that time for some weird reason, and they also had the little LED screens that you also used these jumpers to connect.
For the speed of the processor type.
Yeah, exactly. But you could change it to anything just by changing the jumpers. And also a friend of mine, childhood friend, his brother had locked his computer because they had some of these desktops with lock on it and an actual key. She had to, but that was just the cable inside. So if you remove that, you unlocked it.
There's no lock.
Yeah, and then he put we call it CMOS, the internal
CMOS
memory.
Batteries.
Yeah. And you could put password in there, but you could short circuit that with.
You could wipe it with a jumper.
Yeah, exactly. So we did that as well. And whatever he tried, we just could use his computer when he wasn't.
Oh, I get you now. I understand. So whatever he tried, you were able to circumvent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nightmare, though. It's been a nightmare. Like, you look at some of the technology now, some of the booking systems that have come out. People who can do booking online and stuff like this.
Yeah.
It all started back in the 90s, and it didn't work for 20 years. And now, all of a sudden, it is starting to actually work. And it's really, really good watching the technology start to work. Some of the things are just... I often think there'll be no more network engineers. Soon enough, this job that I have, or that I've had for since 1997, it'll be gone. We won't need me anymore. You look at some of the way the cables are being made now, and you just think, okay, it's even cables are going to be gone soon. So. Maybe not soon. Maybe not so soon, but
but I totally agree. Automation is definitely on the way. It's already halfway there, or at least a quarter or 10%. And gonna go there. So what do we do? Because it's a weird situation where we don't really need humans to do the work that they used to do, and nobody is winning from it. So it's like a
It
design
is.
fault.
It's slowly changing. So accountants and stuff like this, right? This is kind of a job that we don't need if computers do what they're supposed to do.
Yeah,
They may be the groundbreakers in this thing. There was an old saying once that said, "The birds don't have jobs," or "Birds don't have jobs." Right? We as humans, we're one of the most highest operating, functioning
yeah,
entities on the planet, and yet we have jobs. And
yeah,
actually, if you look at technology, where it really kind of really started, the first accountants had the first computers. They had the 8086s, the 286s.
yeah,
They were using SuperCalc, Lotus 123, Lotus Notes, all this sort of stuff.
yeah.
And they may be the first ones to not have jobs. And then the rest of us will, with automation. Like somebody was asking me recently what the jobs, the technical jobs of the future will be, right?
Yeah.
So, and I was saying to them, if you look at simulation jobs, simulations in computers, you've got lumberjack games. Have you seen these kind of simulation games that are out? There's a lot of them. Where you simulate being a lumberjack. You drive around in a forest and you cut down trees and you put them onto a machine and you get paid cash, and then you can get more.
Not that particular, but there's a lot of like this driving games or farming or whatever. Yeah, I've seen
That was the
of
one that kind of set me off, was this lumberjack game, and I thought about it and I thought, in 20 years' time, or maybe less, maybe 10, maybe even less than 5 years' time, we certainly have the capability to have a lumberjack who sits at home in a VR environment.
Yeah,
Is able to launch, when they get the machine stuck in the middle of a forest somewhere, they're able to launch up a drone, switch between the cab view, which they have 360 view of. They'll be able to switch between the cab view and this drone view, and drive the machine out of what they, a bad corner that they got stuck into or something like this.
yeah.
But then that machine can be operated 24 hours a day by people who log in remotely and work these things. And eventually the machine will learn. I'm not sure, they talk about AI, but a human is still an incredibly intuitive. Is it initiative? A human has initiative. And that's one of the hardest things they'll ever try and program. I don't know if they'll ever manage to program initiative. They might be able to simulate initiative, but this is one of the core parts of being a human, is initiative. To maybe preempt something or know the consequences rather than problem solve.
Yeah, I kind of disagree, but when it comes to humanity,
AI, yeah.
no.
Yeah.
I think everything can be simulated. But anyway.
But anyway, I'm not trying to get too deep into.
No. I want to add my thoughts, because what you had one thing that kind of went you thinking about it. I can't speak. But I had another thing. I was thinking about doctors, because now what we call AI, I mean, there's so many different definitions on AI. But what we call AI now in general, they are very good at predicting patterns, seeing patterns. And so actually, they made a test. This was years ago. I think even maybe 5-6 years ago. And they had a lot of huge data set of people's like X-rays. And let an AI software analyze it, and it came up with, well, looks like giving diagnoses from that, which was better than human doctors at that time.
Yeah.
And I think doctors, actually, if you could send in like a blood sample data and x-rays and everything, and they can cross-reference that with a huge data set and give better prescriptions than a human doctor, then you can scale it.
Yeah.
So everyone can use that same software and like for next to nothing. And
We've seen this with Fitbit. We've seen Fitbit sent out this update that is going to detect fibrillation. I don't know if it's called arterial fibrillation, but preemptive heart attack stuff.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. Anyways, you just reminded me of that there.
Yeah, but I was pretty much finished. But I just think that, yeah, why wouldn't you go try the AI doctor? I mean, and then after maybe 10 or 20 years, then maybe everyone would prefer that over going to see someone who half guesses.
Yeah. Interesting topics, my friend. Interesting topics.
Yeah, and those are doctors. I mean, this is happening in every kind of industry, but and it's going to reduce workforces. So what are you going to do? It's not like, I mean, it should be a good thing. Only in the kind of weird system we have is it a bad thing where stuff gets automated. It's like if you have a factory with 20 workers and you produce something, everyone is happy, everyone earns, and then the owner of the factory replaces everyone with robots. 20 people are fired and he is very happy.
Yeah.
The owner. And yeah, I'm not a communist or socialist or whatever is that's the bad word of the day. But still, there's something wrong where people lose in this kind of progress. I think, and one of the mindsets that's so deeply rooted in us, as you were kind of alluding to with the birds, is that we have to work. Why?
Yeah, it's a really interesting concept. I mean, once you start, I suppose once it's introduced as a concept, it becomes an interesting concept.
Yeah.
And I remember when it was introduced to me, I was like,
now it's like we should make fun of or look down on people who doesn't have a great work ethic.
Maybe they're ahead of. Well, you see, it's hard. It's certainly the way I see things going when I look at technology, booking systems, everything. Automation was always key to my work. It was always talking about automation. And one of the things, you know, the way you say about getting rid of, say, those 10 people's job in that office. I've never seen that with automation. I have seen the technology produce different jobs as it automates a really menial job. For instance, you look at AT&T in the States. They used to have a woman who would answer the phone and say, "Hello, this is the operator. How can I help you?"
Yeah.
And if you look at the interview, there's a guy called David something or other, but he interviewed these people and they hated their job. You know, they absolutely, because they said, you know, some days I'd know just by the sound of his voice or her voice that this person was a really hot call, you know, and they're just looking for a telephone number, but you'd know, and it wasn't something you had to do. And then AT&T introduced this thing of push one for, you know, this country or pressing what were they called, dial tone codes, where they introduced dial tones.
Yeah, but it's been a lot of that, and people have used it, I think, mostly incorrectly as like, well, they found new jobs, and the industrial revolution, it didn't, it just made people work smarter and more effective. But I think we're actually at the point where there are gonna be huge masses of people, a high percentage, that just are unemployed, and there's nothing worthwhile for them to do. And they're even doing now, like governments are employing people to do meaningless jobs just to keep them occupied, like cutting grass with scissors. They're not actually doing that, but it would be something to keep someone occupied for a day. And why are we striving for keeping everyone busy? I mean, maybe it's mentally something we need to do. I'm open to it. Like, if people don't have jobs.
No, I would prefer on a Monday to be climbing a hill every Monday. Yeah, Monday is one of the worst, most dreadful days that was ever invented.
Yeah.
The back to work thing.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna talk about it because I'd be too passionate about it. But
no, but I think also it's personal for some people. Also, that are very social and extrovert. They need interaction with other people in the office, and the regularity and repetition, and what's it called? It's about regularity.
No, you're right. It is
repetition.
A routine.
Routine was the word I was looking for.
Well, certainly social interaction. It's too easy to become a hermit, or it's easy, not too easy to become a hermit, but it's easy. To become a hermit.
And then on the opposite side, you have this evil social media everyone is clinging to, making them more antisocial. So yeah, maybe it's not good. I don't know. I think for some people it would be awesome if they didn't have to work. And also, if I look at like the open source thing that started maybe 20 years ago, something like that, where people just do things for the greater good, put it up there, and people can branch it out and make it better in different ways.
Yeah, I mean, look at YouTube. Whoever thought that YouTube would be a job? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, thanks.
Whoever thought making a film would be something where somebody can earn money? Yeah.
Yeah, you have to get back to the computer and look at this lovely comment we got.
All right, hang on there.
You're so unprofessional right now.
Oh, this is like, that's very funny because my wife changed her job recently, and we used to have coffee mornings on a Monday, and it was really nice. And I was like, it's going to be dreadful without her. And then one of my friends called me from Spain, and I said, I was explaining this to him. I said, but now I'm talking to my friend from Spain. And so my Monday is slightly different than it was, and it's not as bad as I thought it would be. That's very nice. Aphid Lib. I really have a really bad time saying that name. Yeah. Thank you. He's been very nice.
Yeah. He also...
Make sure you delete this afterwards.
Yeah. But he got some beating on the old LL, and he took it on the chin and never changed his mind. He stood up for what he believed in. So I've always respected him since that.
I really think Lively was just about getting beaten up. I never remember.
Yeah, but
anything else.
People, because he wasn't ultra right, people thought he was a lefty, and then when it kind of settled down and they understood that he wasn't really anything politically, I mean, ultra.
I think, yeah.
Then I went in there Hey, you lefty! Started it all over again.
But that was
I
the
couldn't
thing there.
help myself.
You just reminded me of it. The atmosphere there when, obviously people came because there was an atmosphere. And the atmosphere changed every time there was anything new that came along. And so there was kind of animosity that could happen at times. I mean, I don't really know. I'm just trying to explain it from my own perspective.
Yeah, I think everything kind
It
of
was such a
died.
complex little place, it
Yeah,
really was, and it attracted all sorts. I remember saying at one stage that somebody may get pissed off about who it attracts, but it's just a light, and moths get attracted to a light, whether they're good moths or bad moths or anything. It
yeah.
was a light, and that was the way I coped with it. It was like a light. And
But I think a
no
lot
real
of
luminous.
the fun in social media died somewhere around 2016 because everything became political. And I just uploaded like a dog video, and someone saw my flag, and then it was about the comments were all about politics, and my video had nothing to do about politics, and this has carried on, and I hate it because it's not political discourse; it's just stupidity. It's always about, oh, the other side is mentally ill.
Mhm.
And
Well,
that's the extent of it. There's no openness. There's no trying to, well, the other side has a good point in this, but they're not seeing this clearly, blah, blah, blah.
yeah.
It's just everything is 100% perfect in my
I think we learned a lot,
political
though.
idol.
But Duke, we learned a lot. Everyone who was there learned an awful lot about
No, I
how
think
it.
I think
No,
we're in an era of the opposite of enlightenment.
I
Well,
don't
what?
know. I don't know. I don't know. I think people realized that that. I think there were certain realizations for myself. Anyway, I'm going to speak about it for myself. I realized that politics was not good for me.
Yeah,
I remember going up to this mountain called Seafin with a flip camera, turning it on, trying to make a video for Live Leak, and every time I got up into this cave, it was gone. And
yeah.
I even got to the point, I explained this to somebody recently, and I said, I actually thought there was something magical about this cave. It was a huge cave. You could see that an awful lot of people had to come together, work together to make this cave, right? And it was 5,000 years old. And I thought maybe there was some sort of magical effect of the cave. Stupidly. Well, not stupidly, but anyway.
No.
But
That's
it
good.
was
I
the
think
sixth time I went up to that cave, and the same thing happened. I realized that maybe what was happening was it wasn't real. My not anger, but my, what's the word for it? The desire to make these things, or to make a change to the world, maybe wasn't real. It was because I was suffering, because I wasn't getting out, because I was sitting behind a computer all the time, and I needed to get out. And I got for me personally, I was like, okay, this isn't what I need to do. This isn't help. It's not helping anybody being angry or making videos. Now, if I want to change the world, do you know what I do?
no.
Anytime I go to a beach, I always think about changing the world. And because that's what I was taught was, you should, if you're a good citizen, you want to change the world. I pick up a stone on the beach, and I
Yeah.
take it in my hand, and I throw it as hard as I can, as far as I can. And I watch the stone fly through the air, and I go, I changed the world. I changed the world just a little bit. That rock's going to take a long time to get back in here onto this beach. That's what I think.
That's true. That's freaking true.
I know it's stupid. It's stupid though. I mean,
No.
it's
It's
a stupid
awesome.
thing.
I've been trying. I've been thinking about that a lot. I also want to change the world and make a positive change. And but I also realized, like 2016-ish, that I don't want to express my political opinions anymore. I still have them, but I felt like it was getting more and more stupid, for real, and pointless. And even people, when I said, well, okay, but can you back that up? And then I got they did. They posted like 15 YouTube videos that each were like 5 hours long that they hadn't made. Am I gonna watch like these ultra extremists videos? And it just felt pointless. Like I had 15 hours to or more to get through just to say, well, I disagree.
Yeah.
Because of this and that, and you could have spoken your own opinion. Anyway, to get to the point, but I still want to make a change in the world, and my
Well, you do. You know your film. You know your Monday film. You know your Monday film that you made.
no.
That changed me, and I know it says, I think there's 26 views there, right? 2 of them are me watching it twice. Hang on, I've got to answer the door. 1 second.
Yeah, sure. Just leave me. Then I'm gonna show this. Yes, because it's rendering now. This is what it looks like in Unreal Engine. I don't really know what I'm doing here, but I do get some
Anyway,
cool results.
the war is over for me now. What was that? What was that film? Was it Platoon? That's what I love. Yes, they've arrived. 2
What
weeks
is-
later. Will we do a commercial plug right now?
Yeah, sure.
So I bought these earphones back in 2019, and I've had such good fun with them. Yeah. They're called Urban
be
Ears.
sponsored. Urban Ears. I know
Battery
about
lasts
Urban
like
Ears.
3 weeks. They last like 3 weeks, right? What's that?
They're spamming me with ads to buy Urban Ears.
So here they are. But the only thing wrong with them after 2.5 years is these things have started to degrade. It's like 19 euros for a new set. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm going to change them. Bear with me 1 second.
Okay. I'm gonna do this again just because I can. Now you see the render preview again. So in about 2 hours it's gonna be done. But I kind of like it when and I'm remotely controlling a computer here, my work computer. So I feel productive when this is rendering, even though I don't do anything.
There's the old ones.
Oh, are you back now? You hear me?
Look at the old ones. They only started to do this about a month ago. I looked
Jeebus,
at them.
what the hell?
No, seriously. I looked at them 2 months ago and they were perfect. I was like, these headphones are amazing. And then over the space of about 3 weeks, they just decided to just like completely fall apart. The pleather.
That looks like a really unloved or overly loved donut.
Oh, I'd say I've used them every day for best part of 2 years. And I recharge them about once every week and a half. I use them constantly. Anyway, there you go.
Yeah, but you didn't let me finish on the really depressing what we do to change the world thingy.
Okay, sorry.
One thing I do or did or tried to do is I've written this long ass script for a game that I'm trying to make, but I did put a pretty realistic time frame on it, so it's until I turn. I'm not gonna say how old I am, I guess, but I have more than 3 years to
Until you're
finish it.
25.
Yeah, but I think like if I really do a serious project like this is semi-serious, I put some values that I do wish to come across that are positive, or hopefully for positive change in that, without it being lecturing or preachy. It's hard, but for some reason it was very easy in that project, so I just put it in.
Okay. Yeah, that's it though, isn't it? The lecturing or preachy.
Yeah, can't do that.
Can't do that.
No,
So-
but I think I think that's a big problem with the productions today. They produce so much shit, and they're like preaching to the choir, but I don't think they even understand the choir. I think some of it is they think they're patronizing their core demographic, but I think they're missing it. So.
Yeah. It is a world that's changing. I've really felt this over the last few weeks, even the last few days. I've been like, wow, if you take stock of what's going on, there's stuff changing. It's another big change. It's like when new people arrive. Maybe new people arriving. Maybe there's a whole bunch of them. I wonder where we come from. You know? I wonder, do we come from? Where do we come from?
Come from what's it called? A primordial soup.
A primordial soup. Yeah.
Primordial, yeah.
There's a GoPro.
Soup.
There's a GoPro battery. Oh, here, I'll show you my GoPro stick. Now this isn't a very good one. I had an Ash that was much better. So you've seen this.
That looks
before.
good. Yeah,
You've seen
yeah.
this. You can change the angles.
Yeah, which is great because you know I love the low
you can-
angles
you
too,
can-
so you can switch it
you can
around and
straighten it a little bit if
Yeah.
you're wonky, and yeah, you can have it off the ground.
or
you can-
you can
you
have
can
it
track
high up.
yourself.
Yeah, it's great.
Exactly, you can have it very high up or very far away from you, or you can walk like this, walking along, and it can't even see the stick.
But
Anyways.
didn't you also have a gimbal from
No, I
like
never had a
you
gimbal.
removed from your drone,
Oh yes, yeah, you're right. I did, yeah.
and it worked, right?
Yeah, I had a battery attached to it. I had the drone battery attached to it and the gimbal.
Yeah.
But that was
What
a
happened?
Hero 3. That was a Hero
Yeah.
3. And it was also like carrying around some sort of atomic bomb with you the whole time. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, here, I still have it. Wait, you're asking, where is it? I
Yeah.
should tell you where it is.
I thought that was
It is
awesome.
right here.
I love the do-it-yourself stuff.
this
That
was
was
the-
awesome.
This was
I
the
remember that.
silicon battery. That's the
Yeah, I
battery.
was so excited
That's
when
the-
you made it.
That's the gimbal.
Disconnected the cables and had to cut them and shit.
Yeah, and then you could just walk around with it like this, and you had a drone. You had a drone gimbal, and then of course they got invented as drone gimbals. You could even hold it, I think, like this.
Yeah.
Oh, and it was a 120 euro drone gimbal with a retrofitted drone battery with its own electrical supply.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Those were the days. Yeah, I think it
Yeah.
still works. Hang on, I just plug it in. Wait and see if there's battery in it.
And one of my best GoPro
Oh, look.
inventions.
Look, it's on. Hang on, let's see if it figures itself out. Oh yeah.
Ooh.
yeah. It still works.
No. Yeah.
It's getting a bit sick.
kinda.
It's getting a bit sick. Yeah, it's still working.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And you can feel it. You can feel the motor in it going, yeah, what are you doing? You're pitching forward, you're pitching backwards.
Why don't you want to use that anymore?
Well, look at it. It weighs about a kilo, you know? I can't believe it still works. I
Okay.
can't believe it actually still works. And plus, it was made for a Hero. Well, that's what I used.
Yeah,
it for.
I get it. Yeah, but still, what the hell? The gimbal is worth a ton.
Yeah.
in awesomeness. But one of my best do-it-yourself inventions for the GoPro was I bought this big flat egg timer. I actually
Oh
found.
yes, yeah. I remember
Yes.
that. Yeah,
So for time lapse,
that was
I could
brilliant.
put
That
I
was
could put it for 1 hour, and it's gonna really slowly rotate, and then just put the GoPro on top of it. Yeah, it was fun. I
And
did have
that's where this whole conversation started off with. Was
yeah. And I did have a guy
initial-
asking, how the hell did you do that time lapse with a moving camera? I put it on an egg timer. And the
Yeah,
response was, oh, yeah, right.
so clever. So that was really clever. Not really
But it's
was.
so easy and like
Mhm.
obvious, but in
But
hindsight.
it's not really that obvious to bring two different technologies together too. It's
Yeah,
not
but
really
but I'm thinking about I want like a huge slide board, maybe a curved one and a step motor, kind of a step engine, and you have it like move in a
My friend
curvature.
has one of these for going sideways, yeah.
Yeah,
Whereas I just do that in a crop. I shoot
but
it
then
really wide and then move.
I've never watched the show, but the intro to House of Cards,
Mhm.
they use a moving camera with time lapse, like
Okay.
excessively, but in a good way, and it looks awesome. But they like, okay, we did everything fun with time lapse, so no one else can do it. We already did it.
Yeah, it's autumn now. What I was going to do was go out and do
I'll see if
the
I can.
same photograph of the same scene a few times. You know, like because it's the leaves are changing, and eventually there'll be no leaves. And I was going to just go out and start taking these photographs, 30 photographs every day, in the same spot. Draw a little line on the ground where you put the tripod.
Yeah.
And just do 30 photos. Obviously, you get a second for every 30 photos. You would like 24. I'll do 24.
Yeah. I'm
Oh,
not
this is
that.
starting to look like an office. My office is starting to look like an office again.
But look at this. Look at this. Can you see the screen? This is the intro to House of Cards. Time lapse, crazy.
Yeah, see, time lapse with clouds.
See, they're moving the camera. No, they're just zooming.
Yeah, some of them are definitely with them moving the camera. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my friend has one of those little stepper motors, and I have watched him several times setting it up. Do you know what? I have a great appreciation for those shots because it is a lot of time. I see them sometimes on intros on YouTube, just the very start of a video. And I'm like, that second took 2 hours of somebody's life to do that second. You know? Just to do a second. There's a second on a video that I made. Oh, let me see if I can find this thing. See if I can show something. Wasn't that what I was supposed to do?
Yeah, like an hour ago.
Sorry.
No. It's kind of interesting. Maybe it's better if I stop this. Yeah, showed enough.
Oh, sorry. Is it my computer coming up there? Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
No. We don't see anything.
Oh, do you not? Okay.
No.
Oh, did you stop it?
No, maybe I have to allow something. Did you?
No, not yet. Not yet. Here. What I'll do is you have WhatsApp on your phone, do you? Or on your computer? So
Yeah, that's true.
You can pull it up.
Yeah, we can do it like that.
Hang on there. Let me send this to you. Okay.
Yeah, but maybe can we stream through what you stream? No, maybe not. Okay. So this is just a picture then.
Yeah. was some other video as well that I made. Oh yeah, it was a video from during the summer, and myself and my wife, we climbed this huge hill with the dogs, and I got a time lapse before the storm arrived, but we were eaten by so many insects. There was these things, they're called horseflies, and they just chew parts of your body off, right? And I got 1 second of time lapse, and I still, every time I watch this film that I made, I see this 1 second of time lapse, remember all the pain I went through. It's like devastating. Yeah, we found this last month. What day was it? Could have been Friday or Thursday. Friday morning, I found this skull, or my friend Joe found this skull, and I found this piece of wood, and I stuck it up on it. And if somebody was climbing up the hill, they're going to kind of encounter the skull with the horns, or the deer. It's obviously a deer's head, you know. But I sent it to a friend of mine that I used to work with, and he's like, "Did you bring it home?" I don't like bringing things home, you know. I think if it's something mysterious and natural, somebody else would enjoy it as well. So I leave it in its natural environment, you know. And if they want to bring it home, that's fine. But
there was some artists that made like models like this out in the wild or whatever. But they were really creepy, more looking like human
like
beings in swamps. Yeah.
I was thinking of that for some of the forests near me, where they're chopping down the forests, that I need to leave like these little witch things hanging around the forest to scare off the logging machines, because they're just like devastating all these beautiful forests. It's part of their job. They have to cut down forests, they grow them again. But I'm like, I see these forests that I've lived in or walked in for 20 years. I see them getting demolished, and it does make me sad, you know, to see them getting cut up. It's part of their job. It's the whole reason they're there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have to go back up that mountain now. It's about 2 miles up a mountain, and I have to get that for my friend. Get that skull. He wants it.
Yeah, but film it. We can use it for the Halloween.
Yeah, I have a little shot of it. I've lost an SD card. Where on earth could I have lost that? It's so frustrating.
Oh, on a
SD cards. Micro SD cards.
On the technical side of things, I've been playing around a bit with interpolation and upscaling in After Effects. It's like AI upscaling. Okay. So instead of just zooming in or transforming from 100% scale to 200% scale, it uses this AI thingy, and so it tries to put extra information in the missing pixels. So it's pretend, but you get a lot better quality upscaling video.
Okay.
And also interpolation is interesting because you can kind of make slow motion out of something that wasn't recorded in slow motion. But it doesn't work great in some cases, especially if there's like a fence with a lot of grid. But if it's but if it's like a bird flying, then it can look actually extremely great.
Do you have an example of this? Do you have any of it?
Yeah, but not ready.
Okay. Bear with me 1 second. I'm just going to.
Yeah, I can see if I can find it actually. What the hell? You can't just walk away during our live stream.
It's getting too warm in here. It's getting too warm in here. I'm trying to find equipment. I did say one of the things for doing the stream was I had to clean this office. Oh, I found it. Oh my God, I thought I'd lost this micro SD card. Look at them. They're so small. You could just vacuum them up.
And they're awesome.
I do seem to be... Oh, wait, that's the live stream I'm looking at. It's like 10 minutes later. I can't tell what the problem is. My GoPro is sick. It's... I don't know if it's the batteries. It seems like any of these extended life batteries makes it sick. And then I don't know if it's the micro SD cards. It seems like...
What version of GoPro do you have now?
It's a 7. I've had it since it came out. So I had a 3 black and a 7 black. That's it.
Yeah.
I've one GoPro, you know.
I personally own just the 4 black version. But at work, I have access to a GoPro 9. So it's nice.
this is your video, is it?
No, not my video at all. But this shows fake slow motion. And if you look at this one, the upper right, it's pretty good for being completely fake. I don't know why. Experience interruptions? Yeah, I do. But maybe it's because I'm streaming and stuff. But anyway.
Yeah, I love
this
slow-mo.
is the original.
I'll do you a slow-mo. We'll do some.
This is the original footage, and this is it slowed down. But it's jerky. It's my problem that it's jerky. But it's interpolation, just the computer making up the frames in between. It's not perfect. You can actually see it with this.
And that's what interpolation means. Is the computer kind of smearing the frames in between that it's missing? Is that right?
Yeah. Taking. Yeah. It sees where the pixels, like the light pink pixels, are, and try to figure out where they're going, and then okay, so I'm gonna pretend to make 3 frames in between, so I take these pixels and move them like in 4 steps. Sometimes it works great. It actually really works great. And sometimes it's just a mess, especially with grids, fences and stuff.
Gotcha, yeah. Something with lines, yeah.
Yeah, they mix it up, the software. But it's probably going to get better. And but also it depends on how hard you use it. If it's... every second frame is a lot better, of course, than every 8th frame or something. Oops, that wasn't good.
It said it's Bureau Clock or something. Bureau.
Yeah. It's the school Discord. Now I'm gonna get doxxed like crazy. I'm gonna have stalkers jumping through the windows. Don't look so tired. Get a coffee or something.
Yeah, okay, I will. Can you pause? Can we pause the stream?
Yeah, we can actually.
How do you pause?
Should we?
Yeah, let's pause it right here.
Yeah.